He has continued to visit the country and is given promises. And I know he's visited many parts of this country, including my own county, Busia. And whenever the president is in our regions, whenever we get the platform to speak, we say how we want these roads done, how we want our hospitals equipped and upgraded, how we want the roads, how we want, money for security in the northern regions, how we want money for mitigation of floods. So basically, this budget speaks and resonates with the aspirations of Kenyans, seeks to address the challenges Kenyans are facing, and seeks to meet the obligations of the nation. And as a budget committee, again, we are mandated by the Constitution, we did travel Kenya. We traveled to most parts of Kenya to seek the opinions of the people, their views about what they expect, what they want from government to be factored in this budget. And after doing that exercise, honorable members, I want to assure you that we have also factored the concerns of members of the public in the processing of this budget. However, I want to also, like I said, I want to clarify the difference. I say that we cannot talk about the budget without making reference to the finance. Because this is an equation. Basically, as budget distributes the money, there is another arm that has got to look for this money and tell us where the money is coming from, and that is the finance. And I think that's why the finance bill kept on coming up. So revenue has got to be generated so that the budget part, the arm of the equation, does the distribution. So money that we propose to distribute must actually be raised. And this money would be raised through A&A, would be raised through taxes, would be raised through donors. We may get some donor funding from some friendly countries. So like Chair has already said, I want to speak up a little bit about the deficit. He has already alluded to the deficit that we have. That is about 718 billion. When you look at the budget in totality, what we are presented to us by National Treasury was about 3.599 trillion. But as you all know, the work of the Budget and Appropriations Committee is to review, is to interrogate, and in certain cases, in the interest of equity and many other factors, we do make some adjustments. The total budget in totality, as it stands now, as proposed by the BSC, is 3.680 trillion. And when we look at the grants, when you look at the revenue, excluding grants, we are at 2.893 trillion. But with including grants, is 2.935 trillion. So we are having a deficit. If you go by the submissions by National Treasury, we are having a deficit of about 663 billion. But with proposals by BSC, we are at 718. So we have the deficit. That deficit must be financed. Whichever way you look at it, it has to be financed one way or the other. And it can be financed by borrowing internally or externally, or sometimes by borrowing a mix of the two for us to be able to generate revenue to finance our budgets. But honorable members, we also need to remember that we've received a lot of pressure from Kenyans, that we need to be cautious on the manner in which we are going to borrow, or with the trends we set with respect to borrowing, so that we do not burden future generations with a lot of debts. We are also reminded every day by Kenyans about the spiraling cost of living, the high cost of living, and we are reminded that we need to be very careful in the manner in which we even budget and appropriate our money. So generally, we are preparing this budget amidst a lot of challenges and in very difficult times. And therefore, that is why in preparing this budget, the committee